Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I'm, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and it's going to some wrestling talk. Now, over the past 3 weeks, the entire wrestling fan base, the entire internet wrestling community, the IWC has been able to just enjoy the brand new Wednesday Night Wars. And even though I'm not a real supporter of the whole phrase of picking sides, because I don't think that you have to pick sides. I think you can support every single wrestling company and still look like a pretty damn good wrestling fan. But the fact is that NXT and AEW are competing directly against each other for the wrestling audience every single Wednesday night on cable television. And yesterday we talked about AEW's feel, where they're going, and what are my expectations of where Dynamite might head. And now it's time to do the same for NXT. And I've said this in the past about NXT. Like I said, I support every single wrestling company. I love how NXT was truly the first company to bring us the mixture, the fusion of the independent wrestling superstars and independent wrestling feel, that kind of hard-hitting style inside that ring with indie darlings, but they fused it with WWE's trademark pitch-perfect production style to make such an absolute gorgeous show for Developmental Brand, which up until this past 3 weeks ago, it had been, or at least it had been labeled as. Now they're trying to pass it off as WWE's third brand. And even though NXT fans, and myself included, would love to consider it the actual third brand in WWE, saying it's the third brand is a lot different from actually making a point of it. Okay? Because right now, if you compare NXT's product to AEW's product, if you compare everything, the feel, the production, the in-ring quality, the matches, the attention, everything, if you compare everything, they're not evenly matched. Okay? I love Full Sail University. I love the energy that Full University brings to NXT. I love that. But, again, if you are going to compete against AEW, if you're going to compete directly against Dynamite, you have to match them on the feel of their show. And when you turn on TNT and you look at Dynamite and they're doing their shows in stadiums, and you turn on NXT and they're doing their shows in a soundstage. Again, nothing against Full Sail University, but that's what it is. There's this idea, there's this comparison that AEW is more of a big-time company compared to NXT still being developmental. I kind of compare it to back a few years ago when TNA Wrestling still had their show take place from the Impact Zone. Even when it was competing with WWE, they didn't tour. Every single show was from the Impact Zone, and it felt like, well, that this is what we can do. If we go out, we might not draw, so we don't want that. But sometimes the energy on a show, like on a soundstage, cannot compare to AEW Dynamite going live every single week in a different city, in a stadium. That's just the feel of it. Another thing that I'm considering from NXT is, they have great in-ring talent. They have great wrestling matches, but very few of these superstars look like main event talent. Very few of these superstars look like top talent ready to be main eventing Raw, SmackDown, or any other WWE pay-per-view from the get-go. And again, that's a problem if you're trying to compete directly with Dynamite. Nothing against the show. It's a great show, but I think, it's just there's a different feel to it. Because I can tell you, you could turn on Impact Wrestling on the Pursuit channel for now, Access TV in the future. You can turn it on, and you can see some great wrestlers. You can see some recognizable names. And I can tell you, hey, Impact Wrestling deserves a better audience, deserves a much bigger crowd. But fans aren't going to pay attention to that. They want to see the company in a big position. They want to see the company in a big time. And that's not where Impact Wrestling is right now. And NXT compared to Dynamite, it still feels like WWE's developmental brand. So at one point in the future, I predict that NXT will have to go and tour on a weekly basis. That might hurt in the initial stages, because NXT, I believe, does tour for some live events, but they don't have their show touring. But in the long run, NXT might develop their own fan base apart from WWE, still under the WWE umbrella and the machine. But again, if it's all about competition, AEW Dynamite, look, feel, and the superstars on Dynamite, the main event guys on Dynamite, have a bit of a leg up on NXT for now. And this is just my point of view. Again, it's always just my point of view. I've never stated anything as a fact that wasn't a fact. So, just take this with a grain of salt from me, because it's my opinion. So what do you think? Do you agree with me, or do you disagree with me? Do you think NXT is on par with Dynamite, and it's just a matter of, well, AEW is just the cool kid on the block now? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the comments section below. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. Till next time.